On this one. Good morning, Facebook. I was trying to fix my my camera there. It was kind of like all whited out. So all right. So I started the video probably with my finger. Well, it's Friday. Who cares, right? Who cares? How are you guys doing? Jump on in. We're gonna talk about sugar cravings. Sugar cravings. I don't whatever. I love your handle. I love Lucy. That's wonderful. Anyway, so good morning, you guys. How are you doing? How has your week been? Like, we are wrapping up the challenge in the Facebook group right now, you guys. And today is recipe day at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And as always, I'm always excited to finish up a challenge. This is our 14th one. And I say it all the time. So, okay. My name is Kirsten Liebelt, and basically I turned around my own insulin resistance in my 40s because my mom wouldn't leave me alone about my sugars because my dad had died of type 2 diabetes. So my whole life was type 2. My whole life was obesity. My whole life was Italian. And that's kind of where my story began. And I found out that I was insulin resistant in my 20s, like gestational with one baby, hypoglycemic with a second. But I love giving you guys a track to run on. And what I mean by that is I just referenced the Facebook group. It's called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And you know what? When I started it a little over 14 months ago now, or whatever, it doesn't matter. This is our 14th challenge, a little over a year ago. I had no idea. Right? The need for community, the need for encouragement without shame. And so now, basically, I go through ingredient trade outs, and all the good stuff. Like, we get to talk about everything and take you into my pantry and my fridge and all that good stuff. But my point in saying that is I want you to have a track to run on because, like, even now, here we are, we're on a Friday. We're just finished a week. How did you do for the week? Because now there are only so many weeks left in July, but now we can kind of like be equipped and take down July. And then when we, get into August, I'll do another challenge. Like, that is a track to run on that I feel like people can embrace, so to speak. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I get so encouraged by you guys. I get so encouraged by your results. It's very, very exciting. And so what we do is we shift the lens that we are viewing weight loss through. And I said this, I was just speaking to a group of people on Tuesday night locally. And I'm in Minnesota, by the way. You'll hear it. If you haven't heard it yet, you'll hear it. I'm in Minnesota. I was speaking to a group locally and I said, I'm really big on personal responsibility. I really, really am. But what if it's not your fault? What if it's not your fault? What if the information that we've been given on how to lose weight is really, really faulty if you are insulin resistant? And that is the premise of conversation. Now, today, what I want to address specifically is sugar is your enemy. I know. We're going to talk about sugar. I get a lot of people who ask me about, how do you deal with sugar cravings and all of that good stuff. But yet, on the other hand, I have equally, if not more, testimonies from people who have been able to squelch their sugar cravings. Tammy! Darling little Southern Tammy, how are you? You're just so cute. Basically, squelching sugar cravings because of filling in deficiencies. And we're going to talk about that. Like, this is literally what I talk to you guys about every single day. Every single day I come on and in one way or another, whether it's in my stories, whether it's in my lives, whether it's in my content, I talk to you all the time about filling in nutritional deficiencies by using targeted supplementation. It's where I started. It's where all of the testimonies come from. You can find them. Actually, you guys, you know what? If you're in the group, if you're in Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, good morning, Magda. My daughter just yesterday posted, she took over 50 testimonies and put them in a guide. So if you're in the group, look in the guide. There's a guide. I don't remember what number it is. You're good. You're driving back from the vet listening to me. That's so fun. Well, I hope your little animal of whatever it is fine and that it was just a regular checkup. So anyway, so let's talk about why you have sugar cravings, like the science behind it. And then let's talk about what the deficiencies could be. And then of course, I'll help you fix that, right? Like that's what I do every single day. That's what I love to do. And if you are on Instagram and you're not in the group, or you guys want to jump over to Instagram, it's Kirsten Liebelt. There's a pink highlight bubble at the top. It's really strange. Some people are telling me they can't see the pink highlight bubble. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing. So if you can't see the pink highlight bubble, like reach out to me. I'm always available to be able to like help people navigate social media crazy universe. And I will help you with that. But it's testimony after testimony. And that's about the trio, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. You guys, they're so good. They're so good. Anyway, so let's talk about why are people telling me that the food noise is calming in their head? Why are people telling me that the sugar cravings are coming down? Why is this happening? And this has literally been my life. I would do something with either adaptogenic herbs or like this trio. I started this over 10 years ago, you guys. I didn't start this last week, over 10 years ago. And then now I've been able to go from a 2X down to a large in my 50s after my cycle stopped. But I would do something and I'd be like, well, why did that work in my body? And then I would have to research why it worked in my body because, like I said yesterday, I had this memory that I got a C in biology. So I'm not a sciencey person, but I have now officially become a very big geek about why do things work in my body? Why is this happening? Because I'm very interested in not being a part of the matrix. I'm very interested. My dad, he died at 63. Lazy Susan full of meds. So I want to do the opposite. So far he took the path of medication. I took the path of supplementation, even though I was total hot mess express. And I ended up, now I'm 59. I'll be 60 in January of 2025. And I'm not on any meds, which means I don't live with the side effects of meds, which means that actually, because then on top of that, turning back your insulin resistance really helps your everything else in your body, helps your inflammation comes down, your sugars come down, like so many good things happen. And that's where I'm able to say I wake up in the morning at 59 and I don't ache. I'm going to show you this picture. This is actually on my site. So we're going to talk about sugar. So she in the white, and I'll show you guys in just a second. She in the white, unbelievably addicted to sugar. Like you guys just don't even understand. My idea of fun in my 30s was to, so this is me when I started my journey, and this was me last year. In my 30s, my idea of a good time was to, on a Sunday, because we homeschooled, right? So weekends were for the break, right? Weekends were so that you could be on a break. There, sorry about that. I know that's kind of like in your way. It's in your face. And so on Sundays, I'd read the newspaper, cut out coupons, and eat, snack-sized Snicker bars. I'm not joking. I am not joking, you guys. So when I talk about sugar cravings, I feel like I have a lot of personal experience. She was probably this version of me. She was probably, no, not probably. She was very much enjoying salt and pepper kettle chips from Trader Joe's all the time with Milk Duds. That was my sugar of choice when I started this journey over 10 years ago with the trio that I talk about. Okay, let's go be normal. Hold on. I got to get my pictures back on my Android that I don't use. I'm such an Apple girl. I don't even know how to use. Okay, hold on. I'm almost there. Good morning, Carla. Good morning, Suzette. You guys, you're so sweet. I love it when you guys jump in. Oops, I just hit this. I'm sorry. That was probably loud for you guys. You can't hear. Somebody let me know on Instagram if you can hear so that I can move forward. Let me know if on Instagram you can hear me. And I'll keep chatting, but I want to make sure. Good morning, Anna. It's so good to see you. It is always so good to see you. Good morning, KK. Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me on Instagram? Yes, you can. Perfect, Mary. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to talk about insulin resistance and why all the sugar cravings. What is going on? And I know we're really hard on ourselves. Happy Friday, Brenda. Woo! It's the weekend. We all love the weekend. I personally think if you're anything like me, thank you so much, Brenda. You really are hard on yourself. And so when you are like always craving sugars and you're always chasing carbs and you don't know how to say no to something and all of these things, I think if you're like me, you're like, you're never going to do this. You just keep trying and trying. It never works. Like what? You think you're actually going to do it now? You can't turn down that, whatever that is. That somebody recently texted me and said that, she started the trio and then she said, I've turned down donuts twice at work this week. But maybe in your head, you're like, you're not going to, what? You're going to say no to that? Really? All of a sudden. And we have this whole cynical narrative in our head about who we are in our identity with food. So I feel like sugar is the biggest piece of a puzzle for a lot of people. Even if you are not completely a sweet tooth, the point is that we're always eating things that turn into glucose because that's what our body wants, right? But in the meantime, whether it is potato chips from Trader Joe's or it is Snicker bars or it is Milk Duds or whatever, it's all sugar. And even if we're doing salt, sweet, because that's a thing. Raise your hand if that's a thing. Thank you, Anna. You know what? I had cut it this winter and I didn't like it doesn't matter. I grew it back. And so now I can put it back up again. So anyway, thank you, Anna. You're so sweet. So dealing with sugar can be very, very frustrating. So let's get into this. Why? What is the science behind why you're craving sugar? So then you can stop putting yourself down and feeling really bad about stuff. It is a thing, Brenda. It is such a thing. Oh my gosh. Okay. So insulin resistance leads to intense sugar cravings. Okay. So they're intense. Just know that it's not you. It's not just you. It's like we're all in this together, right? Until we can get them to simmer down due to several interconnected factors. So number one, impaired glucose uptake. Okay. So when cells become resistant to insulin, we talk about this all the time. Your cell closes the door. They cannot efficiently take up glucose from the bloodstream. So remember, insulin is trying to usher the glucose into the cell so that you have energy, so that you have what you need and your cell's door is closed. So because it can't do that, this results in high blood sugar levels over time, remember, and low intracellular glucose signaling the body that it needs more energy, leading to cravings for quick energy sources like sugar. So I always talk about that in terms of I know it's such an addiction. It is, but it's a biological addiction. Now, okay, I understand there are brain things. Trust me. I can talk for the next 3 hours on the emotional connections with food. I'm Italian. I can do that for sure. But if we can quiet the noise of just constant thinking about something, you at least have a second to assess yourself as to what your trigger is or why you're doing certain things or thinking certain things. And that's the journey that I had gone on starting I was just shy of 51 when I started the food piece. And it took me 3 years of assessing and putting carb blocker in my pockets. I mean, I'm just telling you, it took me a while because I wanted to actually be able to, I wanted to know why. So Carla says, addiction is real. The battle is also between our ears. It is so between our ears. Talking to myself and taking control of my thoughts is a key for me. Yes, Carla. And I always recommend that book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter. Okay. It's an older book. You can get it on Amazon. So the effect is the results of the high blood sugar levels and blah, 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 signaling the body. You just need quick energy sources. I talk about that in terms of putting pine into a fire. It'll burn fast and hot, and your body wants fast and hot, and that's what sugar is, okay? Now, number two, blood sugar fluctuation. So now as you're going like this, basically insulin resistance causes blood sugar levels to fluctuate dramatically. So when you're resistant, when your cell door is closed, now your blood and your blood sugar is rising, because you can have insulin resistance, a high insulin, which is your hormone that shuttles the glucose into the cell. This can be high before this shows up in the sugars in the blood. So this can be high for a long time. I was insulin resistant showing in my early 20s, and I didn't do anything about it until my 40s. Okay. So everybody's going to be different, right? But it takes a while. But when you start to get these high blood sugar levels and they're constantly spiking like this, these fluctuations can lead to periods of hypoglycemia, low blood sugar, which triggers the brain to create as a quick fix to raise the blood sugar levels. So you're doing this. So remember, I said I was gestational diabetic with my first baby, taking my blood 4 times a day. Then with my second baby, I was hypoglycemic on the day that they took they do the glucose test, the disgusting glucose test, like the 4-hour. I always had to do the 4-hour glucose test with my babies, where you drink the stuff and and it makes you just feel so sick. Oh, terrible, terrible. And then they take your blood at certain increments throughout the whole process. Okay. So I did that. So remember, it's both and. So high blood sugar, taking my blood 4 times a day, crashing and passing out in the shower, hypoglycemia, low blood sugar. And so your body's like, hello, quick fix, quick fix. This is the impetus to these sugar cravings, because you're craving what needs to raise it fast. So your body's really smart. It was fearfully and wonderfully made. It's super, super smart. It's like a smart computer. Been there, done that, Lisa says. How much do you mates rates, please? I have shoot, Mark, I'm not sure what you were saying with that. You can say that again, though. And if you're saying mate, Mark, are you from Australia? Because that's really fun. A glucose tolerance test. Thank you, Magda. That's what it was. Mini strokes. That is a tough one, isn't it? Because insulin resistance can lead to heart disease, strokes, dialysis, kidney dialysis, all sorts of stuff. Like it is. Remember the other day when I got super fired up? It does not lead down a good road if we don't take care. UK. Okay. See, I knew you weren't in the United States. I just knew it. When anybody talks to me about their weight, you'll send me a message and you'll say kilograms. I'm like, you are not from the United States. We failed to adopt that whole metric system thing. Probably would have been easier to learn in school. I'm just saying your blood pressure is high. I'm really sorry. I know it is challenging. It is really challenging. But I'm telling you, if you begin to turn around, you are in pounds. Yes. Well, that's probably true. That's funny. You're funny. You can turn around your insulin resistance and change your blood pressure, because insulin resistance is the basis of it. You were blessed with twins at 19 and you had gestational diabetes. You had no idea that I was likely insulin resistant so long ago. Isn't that crazy that we don't have these conversations? So crazy. Yeah, you're on meds. I know. And a lot of you are on meds and you want to get off because you don't like the side effects. So as you guys give me your data, you tell me what you're getting off of. And that makes my heart very, very happy. But hold on just a second. So the third thing, so we did increased blood sugar. The third thing is increased insulin levels. So the pancreas produces more insulin to compensate for the resistance, leading to hyperinsulinemia. Okay. So high insulin levels, remember high insulin levels, which is high inflammation, is different than having high blood sugar levels. Two different things. Blood sugars in the blood. Insulin is a hormone that's being released by your pancreas to go and grab the sugar and get it into your cell, because you need energy. So you have this process going. And then when the door closes and the process can't go anymore, the excess sugar gets turned into fat, and you end up it's rising and staying high for long periods of time. That's when your A1C starts to really show higher glucose levels. So high insulin levels can cause blood sugar to drop too low further driving sugar cravings to rapidly restore blood glucose. Isn't that interesting? Like, you really have to be able to understand that there are many different factors in this where, like, having high insulin is bad for so many reasons. Now it can potentially be driving your sugars too low because it's really like, I'm going to do my job. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to do my job. You can't stop me. Like, your body is going to work as hard as it can to function. We are the only ones that really begin to stop our bodies from functioning and not giving it a chance to do it again. Right. So Tammy, same. You were okay. Nope. I read that one. Good, good, good. Oh, the brain gut connection is strong. This all makes so much sense. Yes. Very good. When it's appropriate, can you show us what a checkout cart looks like, showing that one has probably signed up for Ditto? Asking for a friend? You're adorable. You are adorable. Let's connect and I will help you for sure. You're so funny. So she's talking about putting her products on an auto ship. It's called a Ditto. And she says she wants to know what it looks like and if they've signed up for a Ditto. You would know if you were signed up for a Ditto because you put everything into a cart, you put in the date that you want it to fire, and you put in your payment. And you've gone through that whole process. But I will help you. I promise. Tell your friend. I will help her. Yes, you're welcome. You're so funny. You're so cute. Okay. So that was number 3. And then number 4 is dysregulated appetite hormones. So did you even know that you have appetite hormones that can be like pushed off the track and made to be like not working quite right? Like, you have all these signals going on. And if your signaling gets all messed up, this is what's happening. So insulin resistance affects hormones with leptin and ghrelin, which are 2 hormones which regulate hunger and satiety. Balloons on Instagram. Hunger and satiety. That is such a huge piece of the puzzle because you just think there's something wrong with you. And really, you just have, it's almost like insulin comes in, and as insulin comes up, it starts to just mess with the whole domino. Bam, 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 bam. There's this whole domino effect of your other hormones that start to get really jumbled. And all of a sudden the signaling, it's kind of like you're turning on a, you remember, because we're all the same age, you turn on the radio in your car and it's all staticky, that's what's happening with your hormones. And so that's why your leptin, your ghrelin, your hunger, your satiety, your cortisol, which is your stress hormone, your insulin's already kind of upside down. That's why these things are they're really going awry. And it doesn't matter whether or not you're male or female, because right, like, we both have the same set of hormones. We just use different levels to accomplish different things, right? And so when that's all messed up, that's super frustrating. So that dysregulation really leads to increased hunger and a preference for high sugar foods. So everything that's kind of like wonky, it's telling your body is being signaled, you need more sugar. You need something that's going to turn into high sugar right now. So the craving is coming from a scientific biological place. Yes, I know, the emotional connection. We have that too, where I was taught to celebrate with food and to mourn with food. So yeah, sometimes we're eating because we're not craving. But today we're talking about an actual scientific craving. But that's why. So I'll go over the 4 again. Impaired glucose is number 1. Number 2 is sugar fluctuation. Number 3, party on Instagram. Number 3 is increased insulin levels. And number 4 is dysregulated appetite hormones. Okay. And then now I'm going to tell you about the deficiencies that could be playing a role and then how you fill those. You get so angry that this information was not told to us. I know, Carla. Me too. And it's why I keep coming back and telling you guys. Basic science. Nobody's teaching basic science. Everybody's teaching pharmakia. That's what they're teaching. It's how that goes. Once you recognize that you're in that world of that's what they're going to tell you every time you go, then you can release yourself into self-advocacy and into research. You can stop questioning and doubting that something inside of you is telling you to pay attention to something alternative. And this, again, I reiterate, is not a terminal diagnosis. So you do not need a team of specialists. I shouldn't say that. Most people who are just insulin resistant without a lot of other things going on do not need a team of specialists in order for you to know how to turn it around. You can research this on your own. If you had a terminal diagnosis that required a team of specialists, you would need to pay attention to that, right? Like, you need to balance potentially, like something that is going to kill cells and, I shouldn't say that word, shoot. That is going to create, like sleeping cells and things like that. I have to be careful with TikTok. And that requires something. That's not this, you guys, especially if you're in your 40s and you're barely insulin resistant and it's just for you right now, it's the belly fat. Maybe it's just the belly fat right now. And you're at the beginning stages. It doesn't take a team. It takes just a little, like we have information coming out of our ears available to us about this. Okay, hold on. Oh, Mark had to go. Yes, you go, Mark. I get it. You're so welcome. Well, and I'm just a geek. I research. So, I don't have any letters after my name, but I am Italian. So I'm very opinionated, if that counts for anything. And I just do a lot of, I wanted to know why. Why did my dad die if he had all of these meds? Why wasn't 21st century meds? Why weren't they like the most amazing thing since sliced bread, which is what we were led to believe? Why did he never get better? Why did he never? Oh, that's right. They were never created to heal. Oh man, I get it now. Okay. That's where I was. So anyway, so let's talk about what the deficiencies are. So I'm going to go back to the trio, which are the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. And the reason why is because the first one that they talk about in deficiency actually is something that is in the trio. So I want you to know that this is why when I tell you about having nutritional deficiencies filled in, like, this is a real thing. It starts to bring your body back into homeostasis. Is that my word? Is that proper? But it's trying to bring your body back into balance because you just had a few simple deficiencies. So just like how we took iodine out of, we stopped doing table salt with iodine, iodized Morton salt, remember? We started using pink Himalayan salt. We just started, we walked away from iodine, but we need iodine. We're not getting it enough in our foods for whatever reason. Who knows? I'm sure there are a lot of reasons. I'm sure I could look it up and get a real answer for sure. But the point being that we need that. People with thyroid issues, you need iodine. That's why I talk about like a women's daily. That's why I talk about the women's pack or something like that. You need to have a daily so that you can get some basics. But now let's target towards insulin resistance. So number 1, chromium. Having a chromium deficiency. Chromium is important for insulin function and glucose metabolism. This is why one of many reasons why the trio works. Low levels can exacerbate insulin resistance. Hello. Include chromium-rich foods like broccoli, potatoes, which I don't eat, whole grains, which I don't eat, or take a chromium supplement. Chromium picolinate. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, magnesium. I talk about the magnesium blend that I take. I never have it here. I don't know. I actually don't have it in my line. It's something that I get off of Amazon. I could go get it for you. Let me go get it for you. It's Friday. Let's go get that for you. Hold on. Okay. So I have gotten this off of TikTok Shop. I've gotten it off of Amazon. And I think you can also find it on walmart.com if you're, again, I don't know. I think I can say that on TikTok. And I really like this blend. I'm going to be honest. It's hard for me to buy from other companies because they don't tell me if they're third-party tested. I don't know where their source is coming from. All I know is that this is made in America, and I liked that. It's made in the USA. So I just liked that. This is how I decided. And basically it is a magnesium L-theanine apigenin supplement. And I take 2 of them at night with my ashwagandha. And I talked about ashwagandha, I think, yesterday. So my sleep formula is taking magnesium and ashwagandha, and I sleep really well. Ashwagandha helps you with sleep, stress, and mood. So I have that in my pill box. So let me show you my combination. This is my ashwagandha. I take 2 a day, 1 in the morning and 1 at night. And then I take 2 of these, and these are also capsules, 2 capsules. And this is Maggenin, Maggenin. And I apologize, I know it's backwards. So what you can do though, is you can take a screenshot and then go into your camera roll and you can flip it around. If it's backwards on any of my platforms, you can flip it around. Really good blend. I'm not a TikTok shop seller yet. I should for this because I talk about this all the time, but I don't do that. I just like this blend. So magnesium is one of them. And it says insulin resistance can deplete magnesium levels, and low magnesium can further impair insulin sensitivity. And that's a huge one. And so magnesium, this has 3 magnesiums in it: glycinate, citrate, and taurate. But then it has an amino blend, L-theanine and apigenin, which helps with a little bit with hormonal stuff. This is a really good blend. And it that's why I take it at night, because L-theanine makes you go. So it's a nice blend. I had a magnesium L-theanine in my line that I was taking, and I loved it. And now they're reformulating stuff. So you found it on Amazon. Way to go, Brenda. Yep. So that's a good one. And then chromium, I just talked about that. The third one, vitamin D, you guys. I talk about vitamin D a lot. And especially if you're already my customer, go and search it on the site. Just put vitamin D up in the search bar. It is sourced from mushrooms. It is not synthetic. It is 30 freaking cents a day. Like that's a joke. That's a joke. And amazing, right? 2,000 IUs per pill, 90 in a bottle. So I take 1 a day for 90 days before I even need a new bottle. And some people have to go higher doses of D for different reasons. But for me, 2,000 IUs a day, literally every single day, all year round, that's what I do. I live in Minnesota. Chances of me being deficient in vitamin D are really, really high. Really high. Can you show the magnesium? I froze. I sure can, Magda. You got your vitamin D yesterday, Brenda. Good. It's such a good one, you guys. Seriously, sourced from mushrooms. Very good source. And they have like 6,000 organic farms. So it's coming from organic stuff. There you go. Okay. That's vitamin D. Vitamin D deficiency is common in individuals with insulin resistance and can negatively affect insulin sensitivity. So isn't that interesting that insulin resistance actually causes a deficiency in vitamin D? Zinc. And because I'm in the Facebook group this week doing the challenge, I think the zinc that I talked about was actually in the challenge. I don't remember if I talked about it on here. The zinc that I have is and I actually take one every single day. Zinc is your general contractor of your immune system, but I'm going to tell you why this is really cool in just a second. So this is the zinc that I take right here. Zinc plays a role in insulin production and glucose metabolism. Low levels can impair these processes. And it says eat zinc-rich foods like meat, shellfish, legumes, and seeds, and consider a zinc supplement. So this is, I love this one so much, though. They actually launched this. This is a little side note. Here's some free information for you, as if any of this has cost anything. In 2020, this company launched this supplement. It's a zinc and holy basil supplement. Holy basil is an adaptogenic herb, and you know how much I love my adaptogens, like my ashwagandha. Holy basil is good for upper respiratory. So they launched it right away in 2020. They had the research ahead of time, and so they just pushed through the launch, and amazing. So zinc, very important for not only insulin sensitivity, but also general contractor of your immune system, Zinc, we know now since 2020, I don't think anybody's confused as to the fact that we need zinc. I take one every day, very preventatively, but then that holy basil, like if that is something that concerns you, like you have compromised upper respiratory as you go into the fall and you're a little like kind of bracing, you're concerned, maybe think about having this on just the regular daily and get that into your system. And you'll just maybe have a little more confidence. So that's a little side note. You're welcome, Magda. So that is zinc. And then the next one is fish oil, the last one. Fish oil. And I talk about this a lot too. So I do have 2 fish oil. But the fish oil that I use and that I recommend is wild caught. So if you're not going to buy, if you go to the store and you buy wild caught fish because you're smart, you don't want to then go to the drugstore and get fish oil that is not wild caught, right? So wild caught, third party tested, like let's do this right so that you're not making your body work harder than it needs to work. Okay. Can I send you the zinc and holy basil supplement? I will totally do that, Suzette. Is the chromium and iodine included in the multivitamin? Which one are you taking, Carla? Are you talking about the women's daily? Let me know that. Hey, sweetie, can you pull up the site on your phone so I can look at a ingredient list on something? I think the answer, I'm not going to answer. I'm going to look it up and give you a straight. I want to know for sure. But yes, I will send you that, Suzette. So fish oil. Why fish oil? And this is the last one. Omega-3 fatty acids are anti-inflammatory and can improve insulin sensitivities. Many people do not get enough through their diet. Pull up the women's daily just for kicks, because that then is in the women's pack. Let's do that. And you could be eating, however, salmon, mackerel, walnuts even, or you can take a fish oil supplement. And so those are basic, like, we hear about those, but maybe we don't understand how those can help with the deficiencies in terms of insulin resistance. So the women's daily, because you're asking about chromium and iodine. Hold on just a second. It might not have chromium. Chromium is in the trio. It does have iodine. Yep. And I knew it did. That one I knew for sure, but I just wanted to make sure. It does have some chromium. But it's not the chromium picolinate. It is chromium chloride. So it is a little different. The chromium picolinate is what's in the trio. You have it in front of you. Which one, Brenda? Which one do you have in front of you? You guys are so cute. Yes, the women's daily. Thanks. Trying to combine as many as you can. I totally understand. I don't blame you at all, Carla. I just don't know that you're going to get iodine not in a daily. I mean, I think that's probably going to be the most common place. Let me check and see. Yeah, the men's daily, the women's daily, the men's pack, the women's pack, and then I take the one that is the premium one. I take the one that has 3 pills in one. It has the multivitamin, the phytonutrient, and the multimineral. So really filling in. The women's daily, you have it in front of you. That's awesome, Brenda. Way to go. See, you guys are on it. Simple things, though. Simple. This doesn't have to be as hard as you think it is. And the women's pack, just to let you know the difference, Carla, because you may not care about that. You might just want the women's daily. Inside of the women's packet, it looks like the purple packet, except for it's pink. Inside, there's 4 supplements. It's the daily, which you can get all by itself. The hair, skin, and nails, which you can get all by itself, the CalMag D, which you can get all by itself, and then concentrated fruits and vegetables. So it's just an up level, and you take a packet a day. But not everybody, whatever. Everybody has to see, you have to see what's in your cupboard, right? And then you can then decide what you're wanting to trade out as you go, like when you run out of things. And like you said, sometimes you do want combinations like in packets, and sometimes people just, you don't love pills, So if you're going to take pills, take ones that actually break down. Did you know that they did a study of outhouses and the contents of outhouses at a marathon, during a marathon where they knew that they would be, I should try to find the source of that study. I heard about it years ago. A marathon where they knew that marathon runners would be taking supplements. And they tested the contents, and they found out that most of the supplements that people were taking were not breaking down in their system. I mean, that is literally the definition of flushing your money down the toilet. So don't do that. And I understand it's tempting. It's tempting to get things that are super convenient to us at a drugstore or a like Costco or something like that. It's tempting because it's right there, right now. I'm just saying, like, let's do I know, isn't that funny? I know it's really disgusting, but it's very interesting and it should make us think. Just, and I always tell people, like, if you're going to, like, she was asking about the auto ship and stuff. If you're going to put everything into a cart and do some one-stop shopping, like, do it where somebody's going to give you something back for your shopping. Like, get points for your products, get cash off of future orders, get free shipping, get the things. Like, that's just the way that I was raised by an Italian dad who was the son of an immigrant. Like, I've talked about this before. He got the Christmas tree the night before Christmas Eve. Like, I was raised to, why would you ever just go and buy something for retail, without any perks? Why would you do that? So anyway, so as people switch over things that are already in your cupboard, like, consider just doing some price comparison and doing some, and with the knowledge that you have something that's actually going to break down. It's third-party tested. It comes from organic farms, all of the things. It has all the things, all the points. I always make you laugh. You got to remember pink. It's the women's pack, Carla. Women's pack. That's the one. Okay. How do you know which ones to buy? Well, that's why I talk about it on my lives. That's why I talk about it on my content, because does it say in the bottles that it is highly absorbed? Lisa, I don't know that it actually ever says that. I don't know. I mean, I think you kind of have to know the basis of the company. So I already know these things. I already know that the line that I work with, they are NSF certified. What does that mean? That means that what it says on the label, see, like, I don't even know what this one, I don't know, but it's what I can do for now. So I go by efficacy. I take it, and if I can tell the effectiveness, what it says on the bottle needs to be on the inside of here. If that is not true, and they do like major testing of other brands, like they spend their money and their research to test other brands. My line does, because they have third-party testing. Third-party testing comes in and they don't have any connection to the company, and they go, we want to see if what's in this pill, what you said was on the label, is what's in the pill. Okay. And then my company says, okay, now on top of that, we want to research other people's brands, and we want to know that if we open up a bottle, does this one have the exact same amount as this one? Did you even know there could be a difference in the ones that are in the exact same bottle? So this is a really, really big deal if you're taking something like ashwagandha. You want to make sure that one of the ashwagandha pills doesn't have only 10% of ashwagandha in it that it says on the label. And then the one next to it has like 4 times as much ashwagandha as it says on the outside of the label. I mean, this is a big deal, because then you're not having regulation daily, but you're also having maybe potentially too much or whatever, right? So you want that. The next thing is that I know that the company that I use, they own over 6,000 acres of organic farms. So I might not be able to afford all the time or choose all the time organic food, but if I have plants that are in my supplements, if I'm buying herbs, like, I'm not going to go to the store and buy organic ashwagandha, leaves or something. That's not what I'm going to do, right? But I can purchase it in a potent form. So when you take a leaf and you bring it all the way down to a little tiny pill, you want to make sure that that pill is actually organic, because you don't want to be taking a concentrated plant that's been sprayed with Roundup. That makes sense, right? But then you want all the testing to be done for you to know the absorbability and the breakdown, like when it's dropped into water or whatever. You want those studies to have been done for you. And so sometimes we'll show demos, like when we do product expos, like locally or something like that, or we'll do some stuff on Zoom too. But I'm just saying, like, as an example, we can drop things in water and watch them dissolve and how fast. And I would say that one of the truest things for me has been, so when I take my my multivitamin, my multi-mineral, and my plants. So these are the 3 that I take every day, twice a day for this is my daily. My daily has 3 in it. Okay. If I take these on an empty stomach, they break down so fast and like flood me with nutrition. I can't, it's too much for me. It'll make me nauseous. But when I eat with food, then I'm okay. So there's just a whatever. So pretty much for me, it's the NSF certified. That's why NFL players can use the line, because they really are subjected to a lot of testing. They can't mess around. They don't have room to mess around. Like, their coach isn't going to let them, period, the end, because they can't fail anything. So being NSF certified is a big deal. Being third-party tested is a big deal. And not all this stuff is on labels. So you're right. That can be frustrating. I know that everything's coming from organic farms. And that's probably the 3 things that I would pay attention to for me. Those are the things that I would pay attention to. So how do you open your cells to receive all of this? That is such a good question. Carla, you smarty pants. What's fun? I'm going to answer that. What's funny is that when you go into the vitamin stores, they have no idea how to guide you. You research everything on your own. So you're very grateful for me online. Oh, thank you, Magda. Well, that's, you know what? That is kind of, that was my recognition of kind of a role a little tiny bit a few years ago when I finally got over my whole, what's my word? What's the word, Carrie, when you are, you doubt your, what is that word when you doubt your ability to share anything of value? He knows what I'm talking about. But imposter syndrome. When I got over my imposter syndrome, because, I don't have letters after my name, and I'm the one who avoided type 2 and didn't have type 2 and all of these things, blah, 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 blah. When I got over that and I started talking about this, I realized I am the person that you need so much. I'm going to be honest, between the GNC person that can't talk to you at all because maybe he's 22 and he doesn't know anything about hormones, and the naturopath who has a deeper understanding of certain things for sure, right? Because they've done the study, not the MD, because the MD doesn't have any nutrition. They have very little, and they're probably not going to guide you well in supplements. But you can go to a naturopath and you can get tests done, and you can have all sorts of like consults, and you can have all sorts of whatever. You probably pay for most all of them out of your pocket, just because insurance doesn't cover that in the States anyway. So I am that person in between. So Carla was asking, how do you get your cell to receive all of this? Well, when it comes to, so here's your phone, sweetie. When it comes to insulin resistance, that is the closing of the cell, right? And so that's why then these deficiencies start to really show up. You weren't deficient in these things ahead of time, but that's why. So that's when I talk about the trio, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. You want your cell to do this, okay? But then I would say that I should probably not do that. The other part of that, that was very unusual. The other part of that is really thinking about your gut. I already took my probiotic today. Can you grab me a probiotic stick, honey? Mm-hmm. If you aren't doing anything for your gut, this is the other conversation, and I have it with you guys a lot. You don't want your gut to be leaky, it comes from insulin resistance. You don't want your gut to be all messed up and just jacked up and not absorbing nutrients. And so I know that sometimes the conversation can get super broad because we're talking about, listen, We started over here with insulin resistance. We started here, and now it has caused maybe leaky gut. Maybe it has caused poor nutritional absorption. Maybe it has caused high inflammation. Maybe it has caused upset of all your other hormones. I understand. And I'm sorry. And people will say, I can't believe that. Now, of course, I don't take all of these every day. This is just how my brain works. Okay. I don't do a pill box. I do this. And so people might say, well, gosh, if you're taking a handful of supplements, that's a lot. Listen, I don't take any meds. And because of insulin resistance, I had to figure out how I was going to deal with the deficiencies that it caused. I had to figure out the hormones that were so upside down that I just always thought something was wrong with me. I had to figure out how I was possibly going to shut off the food noise. So I had even just a half a second to think about trading out an ingredient or making a new recipe, because otherwise, you're so consumed. I mean, I know that I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not, because you guys tell me in my inbox, I'm not alone. It wasn't just me that felt overwhelmed with food noise in my head. It's why I stopped weighing myself. I got rid of my scale at least 5 years ago now. I just measure myself and I go by size. The scale is, it can be for some just a mental prison. And all it's doing is telling you is how much impacted waste you have inside of you, how much water you don't have, how many toxins are in your liver. I mean, I'm just telling you, it's weighing everything, how much muscle you have or don't have. And we're using it as the gold standard and messing up our own ability to move forward. Because the minute if the minute you get on the scale, you self-sabotage and you go, screw it, I knew it. Get rid of your scale. Put it aside. Probiotic. This is a stick. It's a powder stick. This is the one I take. It's, I just put it on my tongue, but you can put it in cold water. You can sprinkle it on cold food, but it's a prebiotic with 5 strains inside of it. Get your gut fixed. I have a gut primer that's coming out in August. I can't wait to bring it to you guys and show you. I don't know all of the details yet. I'm making noise. It's like ASMR. Sorry. Do you guys know? Because you can't see me on Facebook. I have a microphone. And as I talk close to the microphone, if I go like this, I'm not going to do it. They do that on TikTok. They do ASMR. It's so funny. Funny that I know that. I'm too funny. Screw it. I know. But seriously, that's what we do. We get on the scale and we're like, yep, you were never going to do it anyway, or whatever it is. And we're like, then we feel like we've given ourselves permission to mess up the entire day. Come on. Am I the only one? Are you kidding me? It's taken me a long time to change that mental conversation. I've worked hard for it, but you can too. And it's only you inside of your brain, right? So anyway, if you need a probiotic, if you need that added to a cart, let me know, because I will help you. You feel like you're holding water. Yeah, it's so common. Your scale has been going up, but your numbers are down. What does that mean? Like your lab numbers? Wendy, good morning. Good morning, Wendy. Yeah, it's just, you know what? This is just what we do. So come on, if we're all in the same boat and if we're all having the same thoughts, if we're all, chasing our own emotional stability every time we step on a scale, put it aside. Be brave enough to just put it away and not care what the number says. And just get out a piece of paper and a pen and measure yourself, measure your arms, measure right underneath your boobs, measure your waist, measure your hips, measure each thigh. They're usually different. And just write it down and stick it in a drawer in your bathroom. And just know that, you know what, and then just say to yourself, I give you permission to go on this journey. I do not require it to be fast. I do not require it to be perfect, but I give you permission. I give me permission to go on this journey, to love myself enough to not let people push food on me, to not let people put me down or to make fun of my food choices. And you just stand strong and you say, when people point out the way that I eat or don't eat or whatever, I just am like, I require absolutely nobody around me to eat like me. And I actually really love the food that I eat. So you have to understand that is a huge success for me because I came from, an Italian family where food was, you were just told to eat. It was a sign of love and affection and respect, and you celebrated and you mourned with food. Food was everything. And so food pushers were very normal because they feel loved if you eat their food because they put time into it. They don't mean to be that way. It's just the way that it is. Like, come on, I made you all this amazing food, your sugar numbers. So your sugar numbers are going down, but your scale has been going down, but your numbers are, yep. Okay. Very good. Because when your sugars and your insulin come down, you can finally lose weight. If your insulin and sugars are high, you can't lose weight. And if that's the first time you've ever heard that, make that connection. I'll say it again. If your sugars or your insulin is high, you can't lose weight. It's not your fault. You're on a hamster wheel. That's where targeted supplementation comes in and shifts everything. That's why all of the testimonies, pink highlight bubble, top of my Instagram page. If you're in the Facebook group, Ditch Insulin Resistance, my daughter just put together an entire guide of over 50 testimonies of the trio. And most of them are from January 1st. I'm just telling you, you can actually take something that fills in nutritional deficiencies and shift the way your body's functioning. Bring down your sugars, bring down your insulin. This is why the weight loss. And some people take longer. And I get it. And I am sorry about that. Anna, are you talking to people in Spanish? You love yourself and you give yourself permission. It makes so much sense. Yes. You feel like you've gained and lost enough weight to totally evaporate. Yes. I know. I understand. And trust me, like I get it. There's this layered, multifaceted gem that we're talking about. I get it. You have to deal with the brain conversations. You have to deal with the emotional feelings of when you don't have certain foods around you, or you walk into a social setting and you do have foods that trigger you, that you immediately go, I don't know how to turn away. I don't know how to not eat that. Oh my gosh. You have that feeling. These are all just routines and triggers and habits and whatever. It doesn't make you any different than anybody else. We're all the same. You just have to recognize that and go, okay, just hold on, and then choose to not have shame. Oh, mania. Okay. Eat. Yep. Got it. Just like Italian. Mangia. Yes. Got it. I'm just saying, like, you can walk the journey just like I did. You can have conversations in your head with yourself that are kind, that are patient, that are loving, that don't involve shame, humiliation, condemnation, other people's things that they have said to you. You don't have to let them live in your head anymore. And that's why I keep talking about tools. Like, if you need carb blocker because you're having a hard time, I did carb blocker for 3 years in my pockets while I navigated social settings. But I needed to be able to have a social setting where I did go ahead and choose to eat whatever I wanted to eat and not have shame. It doesn't mean that then you're not like feeling, whatever, like you still have to walk through certain pieces, but I just want you to know there's another side. This sounds really messy. This sounds really like a lot. There's a lot. But I can give you a simple track to run on. Simple. Let's start with targeted supplementation. I'm going to teach you food ingredient trade outs. That's the Facebook group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And then the third piece is every single month, we're going to do a challenge, and we're going to learn ingredient trade outs and recipes and pantry and fridge, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to have fun and we're going to encourage each other. And it's a safe zone, right? So that's the track that I talk to people about every single day. Let's start with targeted supplements. Let's fill in some of those deficiencies. Let's start to bring some numbers down so that you can at least like have a minute, right? And a lot of people, and not everybody, but a lot of people actually do lose some weight right away because their insulin and their sugars starts to deflate. So immediately their body goes, whew, and it's very nice, right? But for those of you who it's not going as fast as you want it to, you have to have a longer term thought process in general. Dr. Eric Berg says it can take a year for your morning sugars to go down, that dawn phenomenon. It can take a year for your HBP to go down. Like you're healing, you're turning back. This door, some people's cell door is tighter than others. So like I have somebody who she has not had fast weight loss at all, but her fasting insulin has gone down from a 24 into the 8s. And she does struggle with her food trade outs, right? She is struggling. And that's okay though, because listen, let's say you take 6, and time is going to pass anyway. Let's say you take 6 months and maybe you don't lose the weight you want, but your fasting insulin is down and you know that your health is going in a certain direction. Aren't you happier? Aren't you just a little happier? And then maybe the next 6 months you see a weight loss. I don't know, right? Because we do have to fix what got us into the pickle. You can't out supplement eating McDonald's all day, every day. She's not doing that, but I'm saying in general, you can't out supplement the standard American diet. You do have to fix it at some point. You do have to fix the spiking of sugars and the calling of insulin. And that's why the Facebook group. So there you go. And I don't know why they filter comments, but maybe it's because people say things, I don't know, but comments get filtered on TikTok. And I know I don't see them on Facebook at StreamYard. I don't see them all. I don't. And I'm sorry, but yep. Healing from the inside out, Carla. It's what we're going to talk about every single day. Every single day. So if you need anything from me today, let me know. Yesterday was really, you guys were on your game. Let me tell you, I ended up having a couple of phone consults yesterday, a Zoom consult. I don't normally do those, but I do a lot of carts for people, customized carts. And so if you need a cart, let me know. And I'm going to say this right now because somebody questioned this morning. I thought, oh, I should be clarifying this. Just because I send you a cart doesn't mean that you have to order everything in the cart. Sometimes I'm sending people an exploratory cart, and then you pick and choose what you want to add to your own cart. Okay. So the cart is not a solidly defined unit. You get to pick and choose. Okay. So we can do an exploratory cart. Some people are like, I would like to know the trio. I want the gut health. I want, the ashwagandha and the turmeric. I want it all in a cart so that we can talk about it. Perfect. Then you're going to add what you want to your cart. At the very top of the page, there's a person icon. Click on that, register as a customer with your name. And then there's a little tiny box that says, do you want the perks? Yes, you want the perks because then $139 or above, you can get free shipping. You get points for your products. If later down the road, you want to set up an auto ship, or you can do it now. You can do it right away. Some people do. You get double points, like all the things. So there are things that people want to ask me so that they can navigate it well, right? Like, don't make this harder than it needs to be for you. And I want it to be streamlined, right? So reach out to me. Instagram, get into my inbox, just DM me, direct message me. Facebook, Messenger, message me on Messenger, whether you're on my Facebook business or my personal, either way is perfect. TikTok, you guys are just a little bit special. That platform is special. So you have to either go up to my face up here, and then my face will come up right down here again. And you either have to, there's a phone number at the top, and you can text me there. Hope I'm not saying words that I'm not supposed to say. And because you're not supposed to give out personal things, it's a protection because it's such a global universe. Um, just to let you know, that's why they do that. So if you do that, then you can just say, "Hey, I was on your live and you chatted about this. Tell me your name." Say, "Hey, my name is Mary. I was on your live and you were talking about a cart. I was wondering if you would put one together for me. I need the trio. I need to look at the trio for the insulin resistance. And you talked about those 3 things for gut health. And then you talked about that zinc and holy basil. I want those in a cart and I'll put it together for you and I will get that to you. And then we can chat about what makes most sense for you." Okay. Like, let's make this easy. I thought I had a screenshot of my site, but I don't. I thought I did. I have a screenshot of my Instagram, but not my TikTok. I was going to show you what TikTok looked like when you get to my page. But do not be concerned. There is a number there for you to do this with. And so just let me know so that I can help you, because that's why I put my contact information out there. Okay. I don't want people to like, do we know if any of these interact with meds? You always have to know that for sure. So this is what I'm going to say. If you're on a thinner, you need to know what interacts. That's probably the number one thing that people have to be careful about. Okay. So you do have to ask those questions. Number 2, oftentimes, if it is going to be something, it's going to be an herb or something like that, because those herbs are really shifting certain things inside of you. And so you do have to know that. When it comes to like type 2 meds, I have had people bring the trio, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity, bring them to their doctor and gotten clearance. Like, because in my layman conversation, my own personal opinion that does not have credibility in the MD world, I'm going to disclaim myself here. To my understanding, there are not interactions with the trio and basic. I'm always picking my words carefully. Type 2 scripts. You do need to be somebody who assesses yourself, though, because when something does work, you need to know. You don't want to drop too low or anything like that. Okay. And as far as the gut stuff, let me just think about that for a second. The gut cart would be digestive enzyme, probiotic, and a fish oil. Probably not. Probably not at all. Probably only helpful. Vitamin D, probably only helpful. I think that if you're talking to me about hormones and adaptogenic herbs like the ashwagandha or the purple packet, that's where you have to, like, if you're on an anti-PSY script, you need to know. You need to look up your interactions with that. I hope I covered kind of the bases on that, because that's a really good question, KK. You do need to know stuff like that. And I want people to, like, when people say they're going to take stuff to their doctor, perfect. Like, this is your world. You're taking responsibility. You're taking responsibility for your world. And your world, if it has scripts in it, if it has recommendations in it, if you have had, there's no way anybody else, whether they are at a vitamin store or Costco or Walgreens, nobody is going to know your history like you're going to know your history. So that's how I get the testimonies from you guys, because you guys are the ones that say, OMG, I just got off of my HBP script. OMG, I am now off of one of my type 2 scripts. OMG. So like, you are walking this journey and getting off stuff, and you are like, OMG, and you're telling me, so then I'm able to take that data and give somebody else hope, right? But you're the ones assessing. So good question. I love that question. It's helpful for everybody to hear that not only can you just have to be a good assessor of your world, and where you think that you need to chat with a physician, for sure, like, do it, right? Especially thinners. Those are the weird ones. Oh, I've missed stuff. Oh, you guys, sorry. Crystal, don't be sorry. I'm sure you've been on forever. What do I mean by food noise, Crystal? I don't know if you're still on. Shoot, none of these came up. Sorry. Hello, friend. Oh, you guys, you said so many things. Your glucose numbers don't go down. You're on keto and you feel nothing has changed. Super interesting. We've got to chat about that. Your glucose numbers don't go down at all. I think my question would be, how tight are you on keto? Keto means so much to so many. Do you drink any super greens drinks? You tried, they taste awful, but they say it's good for you. Yes, I do have an organic superfood green drink. It's actually sweetened with stevia and it does not taste gross. However, people who are carnivore are not drinking greens. So I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying that it's usually there are things that supplements can do, plant supplements and greens that can be very helpful. It depends on what you're talking about. However, I don't know. I'm just debating on whether or not I want to kind of go down that conversation for a minute. It's not necessary, but if you're looking for a really good one, I have a really good one. The Perks icon has been having technical difficulties, Magda. So they need to call. That's what you did. Oh, Magda, I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me that. Thank you for telling me that. And what was the question that I am? I do have Gymnema is in the trio. Gymnema helps with sugar cravings. Okay, food noise. Crystal, thank you for asking that. And I hope you're still on. And if you're not, you can catch the replay. That was a while ago. Hey, Melissa. Good to see your beautiful face too. I imagine it across the interweb waves. So food noise, when always thinking about food, always thinking about eating, always thinking about how you're going to not eat something, how you're always thinking about how will you ever switch out your foods? How will you ever go without something? How will you, like, it's just noisy in your brain about food. That's what I mean. So what happens is when you are able to bring down, your sugars and your insulin, and like somebody else was asking about Gymnema. When you get these blends together, like we talk about with the trio, there are things happening with some of these herbs that because they're helping an internal craving, let's say, that is helping to simmer down your food noise, because now you're not just constantly have this grating of a craving. You're just chasing carbs and sugars. And so therefore your brain is kind of always thinking about food. And over time, and I can attest to this 100%, over time, and this is where Andrea, like talking about, trying to get things to go in the right direction. When people talk about keto, there are so many definitions of it. And this is why I reference Maria Emmerich, because Maria Emmerich is, she's a no bull keto conversationalist, because we're not looking for the fad. We're not looking for the fat bombs. We're not looking for the fat in our coffee. We're not looking for all of the things that people have told us that it is. So sometimes we have to really this is why I teach grain-free, sugar-free, because you have got to stop spiking your sugars. It's keeping all of this alive is what it's doing. But then I also take it even further. This is why I make the egg white bread, because I can turn that into other things, because I also back way off on nuts. I love almond flour. I love nuts, but I back off because it'll stall my weight. It'll stall things. I pick and choose my dairy, because dairy can be inflammatory and it can stall things. So sometimes you're going through this phase, and I did it. It took me a good 3 to 4 years. Tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak. Don't think it happens overnight. Sometimes you're using keto products that didn't know. Sometimes you're eating a sugar-free piece of chocolate, like a Choc Zero that has something in it that's actually raising your sugars. Sometimes it's just too much dairy and your body is like, yeah, we're just going to stay where we are. Sometimes, I mean, it can be so many different factors. And I know that that's the piece that gets confusing, but that's why assessing yourself and allowing yourself to have conversations in your head, or allow yourself another level of research, or let's do another month of going, let's go another month. Come on, let's go another month. Come on. Because there's a time factor for people. And so a couple of weeks isn't going to do it. Sometimes a couple of months. I had somebody who type 2, could not budge 1 pound, could not get her morning sugars down, started the trio. And for the first 2 weeks, her sugars went up. And I asked her, how did you keep going? Why did you keep going? She said, I just had a feeling. She just knew. So after 2.5 months, she had gone down 30 points in her morning sugars, which is a massive accomplishment. And she lost 14 pounds. So I'm just saying, like, everybody's journey is going to look differently. Don't talk yourself into being discouraged because you're comparing yourself to somebody else's results. Win the day every day for you by assessing you, not the person to your left and not the person to your right. Of course, we're going to have testimonials. It's the only way you can have hope and encouragement. We have to have testimonials. But then you have to be able to say, I am proud of me right now because I'm actually, whatever it is, I traded out this ingredient. I did this recipe. I had a non-scale victory of I had energy this morning. Whatever it is, like for people, it's everybody's different. I'm glowing today, Anna. Am I really? Oh, you're so sweet. We need my skincare videos. That's going to be in the other group, Anna. That's in the other group. And you got in there. So you'll see that. I'm doing Christmas in July. Okay. So I have another group. You don't have to remember all this, but in the other group, it's a more broader conversation about products, because we're in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, I'm talking very specifically targeted supplementation to help your insulin resistance. But the product line that I'm connected to, it has a lot of products. And so they take all of the botanicals that are in the supplements, and they put them into the skincare. So some people want to know about that too. Blah, 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 blah. So in that group, and you can reach out to me and I'll get you the link. We're doing Christmas in July, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, the 14th, 15th, and 16th of July, coming up in 3 days. And every single evening, now you got me on this tangent, Anna. Every single evening, we're going to add value. So the first night, it's going to be me, and I'm going to do a recipe and talk, because most of those people have not been in my Ditch Insulin Resistance group. So we're going to do weight loss through the lens of insulin resistance, and I'm going to do a recipe. The second night, my girlfriend, who's a cosmetologist, is going to do gua sha and skincare, lymphatic drainage and skincare. And then the third night, my daughter is going to teach sourdough. Now, remember, I don't eat grain, but she is going to teach. That's not in the Ditch Insulin Resistance group. You'll notice she's going to teach how to make sourdough, why it's better for your gut. And then she's going to talk about gut health supplements. So I'm just telling you all that because that's what, Anna, I'm answering your question. You love to take the trio to get your sugar normal now. So glad. So glad. And I think Anna, her testimony was that her morning sugars went from 120 down to 90 using the trio. So you can't wait, Anna. I know we're going to have fun. Like my husband's going to go into our storage unit this weekend, and we're going to get out my Christmas stuff, and we're going to decorate my kitchen, and put on Christmas music. Christmas in July. We will have some drawings, and we'll have some specials and that kind of stuff. So anyway, all right, blah, blah, blah. You have to win every day. You have to win every day. Dirty keto versus clean keto. Yes, Carla. Tweaking and switching out is beginning to help you. Yes, yes, yes. Dirty keto, you guys, I'm just going to tell you, like, I understand the concept, but if you're insulin resistant, that's not your answer. That information is not for you. Can I just be really honest with you right now? Dirty keto is not the information for you. And I know I missed stuff. I'm sorry. You use most of the ingredients that I mentioned list, and it's so frustrating. You're down 82 pounds, but it's because you went down to eating one meal a day. Oof, da. 25, and now you feel weak, no muscle strength. Oh, you're 5 foot. I don't like that. Magda sounds fabulous. It will be. I'm just thinking, Andrea, you're down 82. One meal a day. How's your protein level? If your protein should be up over 100 grams a day, is that one meal literally beef and eggs? Chicken and eggs? Because otherwise you're just not getting enough protein at all. Not even close. And protein is very much connected to weight loss. Muscle strength, completely connected to protein. 100%. 100%. So there are different conversations out there that are just not for you. They're not meant for you. One of them might be, all you have to do is count points, and it's all about balance. One of them might be, and I'm just telling you, just telling you, a clean, nailed down keto, really, you're tweaked down. And I'm sorry that some of us, like me, have to really tweak it down. My body was like, excuse me, where's the pasta? My body wanted to know where the pasta and the bread was. And so, yeah, it took me some time to figure it out. I had this thing like Kirsten, stop eating the sweet potatoes just because they're a whole food, or whatever. And it is frustrating, but I do, Andrea, I want to know about just meat. Are you kidding me? We're just going to have to talk, Andrea. Do you know how many grams of protein when you're sitting down to eat? And yeah, because I have questions. I have questions like, okay, how much fat are you getting? You know what I think you need to do? Let's get you Maria Emmerich's calculator, her macro calculator, and follow that to a T. How much protein, how much good fat, how many carbs. Let's change what you're doing. You took a food sensitivity test from offline. Top 2 were milk and eggs. So what else could you do? If you can't do eggs, that's a tough one, not going to lie. And you have to know if it's the whole egg or if you can eat the egg whites, because you can do everything with just egg whites, including making sugar-free chocolate pudding, and get a lot of high protein that way. But it doesn't take much research to, maybe I'll try to find a good graph today and post it on my IG and my Facebook. I'll commit to that today of what levels of protein in it, because it's good for people to see, oh, okay, yeah, I forgot that I could have a chicken breast and it's 42 grams of protein. Oh yeah, I forgot that I could have whatever, like it opens it up. But the whole egg conversation, number one, you can do, sometimes people can do, you're welcome. You can do egg whites and not the whole egg. That's number one. Number two, some people change over to duck eggs that you can sometimes get locally by you, or quail eggs. That's another option. Yeah, you don't need enough protein. Sandy. Hi, Sandy. This is what I talk about this a lot in the challenges. Protein, 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 protein. For so many reasons. You want to maintain your lean muscle mass. You want your muscle to help you burn fat. You want your protein to stabilize your blood sugars. You want your belly to feel full. You want to feel satiated. You want your hormones to go, yay! You want all of these things. And that is the opposite of usually what we feel on a daily basis eating the standard American diet. You don't eat enough. Yep. It's actually isn't this crazy? Isn't this the opposite of what we're told? This is the opposite of what we're told. We're told, listen, honey, it's a calorie deficit. All you have to do is eat less, eat less, eat less, and you'll look like a Victoria's Secret model. Like, it's just BS. Nobody's talking to us about insulin as a hormone. You need to really, really increase that protein way up and over so that you can, so you can stabilize your blood sugars and do all of the good things. Like, this is a real thing. It is. But don't forget that you do need really good fat. So Maria Emmerich, and I'm going to have to jump you guys because I have something in 3 minutes, and you love your sweets. I know. I get it. See, that's me. That's why I find my sugar trade outs. Maria Emmerich teaches this. And this is what I'm not one of her coaches, but I have like adopted this and it has worked for me. And she has a free macro calculator. High protein, moderate, really good fat, enough to keep your hormones happy. And then you crush down those carbs, like 20 below a day. Stop with the net carb mess. Stop with the dirty keto. Stop with all of the, well, how much fiber is in it? Just stop it. Stop it. High protein, moderate, really good fats to keep your hormones happy. This is why low fat was devastating to our bodies. Devastating. It just ruined us. It ruined our hormones and it ruined our brain capacity. So olive oil, avocado oil, butter, lard, ghee, etc. Fatty meat. Just saying. Get really good fats in your body and then bring those carbs way down so you can stop spiking your sugars, stop calling on insulin, and stop having high inflammation and all the other issues. So that's my TED Talk for today, people. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you so much. Reach out to me if you need anything. I've seen some messages come through that you want some carts. So if you need a cart that has the trio in it, gut health, whatever it is that we talk about, because we talk about a lot, blah, blah, blah. Let me know. Vitamin D, fish oil, yada, yada, zinc and holy basil, all the good stuff. And I will put together a cart for you. And remember, you don't have to purchase everything. It can be an exploratory cart. And then you can pick what you want, put it into your own cart, register as a customer with your name, and then we'll move forward. But my contact information is available so that we can chat. Okay. All right. Have a good day, you guys. Be super, super blessed. Super blessed. See you later, Instagram. All right, Facebook. I will go back and read all of the comments that I know are there that I can't see. Dang it. I can tell like things do weird things. So anyway, all right. Have a blessed day. And I look forward to chatting with you very soon.